Hey everybody, Jim Sammons here, the Kayak Fishing Show live, as always, brought to you by all these wonderful sponsors scrolling across the bottom, including Seagar, Jackson Kayak, a band of anglers, Ray Marine, excuse me, Yak Attack, who else? Standard Horizon, Ballast Point. So, we've been doing this for a long, long time. 13 years on the air. And every Tuesday and Thursday, we come on here on Facebook Live, and as well as Kayak Fishing Tales, our YouTube channel, and air old episodes. And we are open to questions and comments throughout the airing of the episode. So if you have any questions, any comments, want to let us know you're watching, let us know where you're watching from, shoot us those comments. I'd love to see them. But again, these are the sponsors who have allowed me to do this for such a long time. Excuse me, still battling the cold a little bit, but definitely well over the hump and feeling a lot better. And the shoulder's starting to feel a little better too. I couldn't do this a week ago. So pretty happy with how the progress on the shoulder's going. So, like I said, every Tuesday and Thursday, we air these shows on our Facebook page, on our Facebook group page, and on Kayak Fishing Tales, the YouTube channel. If you are watching on Kayak Fishing Tales, I highly encourage you to subscribe and hit the tab for notifications. That way you find out when we go live. Also, I highly encourage you to join the Kayak Fishing Show group page. You're welcome to post your kayak fishing stories or fishing stories or anything like that, or questions over there. But it's also a great way to make sure that you are notified whenever we're going live. Because if you're just going to the Kayak Fishing Show Facebook page, Facebook's not real good about notifying people about when we go live. So if you're a member of the group, you're much more likely to be notified, as well as, again, on Kayak Fishing Tales. So as I said, on Tuesdays, we air the Jackson Kayak years, which is kind of the newer stuff. On Thursdays, like today, we air the older stuff. This one today is back from season 3. So, 10 years ago, about 11 years ago. And this episode today is actually part 2 of a trip we did to Costa Rica, to the east coast of Costa Rica, with our friend Steve Jurries and Joe Lynberg. Steve said he was going to come on the show with me here today. This show was actually supposed to take place a couple of weeks ago or so, but I got sick. And so he said he was going to come on this part 2 with me, and then we didn't do the show. And then I kind of got sidetracked and forgot to notify him of today's show until this morning. So he said he was going to try and make it, but not 100%. It just makes it more fun because we can share some stories and stuff about the trip that aren't necessarily in the episode. But the cool thing about this whole area, like I said, going to the East Coast, obviously most people don't think of tarpon in Costa Rica. You think of the Pacific side, where we're getting sailfish and roosterfish and cubera and all of that sort of thing. But on the East Coast, where we were staying here, Silver King Lodge is kind of the northeast side of Costa Rica, right near Nicaragua, and very good tarpon fishing, as you can kind of see in this photo behind me. The fishing was so good. It started off a little bit slow. Actually, Joe in this picture absolutely crushed Steve and I on the first day. And then I gradually started catching up. And then I did really better than anybody on the last days. But the fishing was so good that Will, our videographer, just put the camera down and started focusing on getting still shots like the one behind me. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. It was also so good that Will put both cameras down and we let him fish. And he got his very first tarpon ever on this trip, which was very cool. It actually broke a rod in the process, as I recall. But just like I said, fantastic fishing, a great destination. The whole idea is the Silver King Lodge is up the river. And so you come down river, go through the surf zone, and then you work the area outside the river mouth and out to where the current break is. And it was pretty wild, the difference in the current break from the water coming out the river. And this was outside maybe a mile or more, but the water was still kind of dirty from the river. And then you get out there and there was just a hard line of where it was dirty and where it was clean. And the water was just alive. I mean, there was so much motion from the two currents hitting together. It was just like, it was like nothing I'd ever seen before. It was very, very cool. But like I said, a lot of big tarpon there. There were saltwater crocs around there, so we had to be aware of that a little bit. We never saw any when we were out, but definitely saw some on the beach. And that always makes you think twice. I did see a big cubera get landed on one of the days. I don't remember, but in closer near some rocks, some guys got a big cubera. We mainly bait fished. And if I was to go back now, I'd probably do things different, but this was a long time ago. And like I said, I think this was, I don't know if this was the first time I ever caught tarpon. May have been. But like I said, it was just an absolutely wonderful place, wonderful shoot, and great fishing with great company. Silver King Lodge, like I said, location-wise was awesome. The rooms and everything, the food was good. It was kind of different in that it was run by an American woman. I don't think she runs it anymore. I'm almost 100% sure she doesn't run it anymore. And she was interesting. She thinks that, unlike me, when I travel, I like to immerse myself in the culture and try all the local foods and, just kind of learn about that. Well, she had more of the mindset of people are coming down from America. They want to eat American food. So it was like pizza and hamburgers. And it was just like, what is this? I want to have the local food, and the local food on the East Coast of Costa Rica is very different than the West Coast. It's almost like you're in a different country, just the food, the culture, everything else. And one day, for a couple days, actually, this woman who was running the place left the lodge. So we talked the lady who was in charge of the kitchen into cooking us more of the local food. And it was amazing. It was so freaking good. And everybody else who was staying there was like, why do they not serve this to us all the time? But this woman, and I think she was like from Wisconsin or something, she just had it in her head that everybody wanted American food, and couldn't have been farther from the truth. But amazing fishing, amazing place. And so far, I don't see Steve trying to find me here, so maybe he didn't make it in time. But if you have any questions, again, shoot them our way. Bring on the questions. Share the videos with your friends. I really appreciate that. And let's get this episode going.
This week on the Kayak Fishing Show, I'm hooking up with Steve Jurries and Joe Lynberg on the east coast of Costa Rica at Silver King Lodge. We've heard there's big tarpon in the muddy waters of the Rio Colorado, and we're going to go get them. I love Costa Rica, and after my last trip with these guys, I couldn't wait to meet up with them again and try something new. When I first started this show, we tried for weeks to catch tarpon in Florida with very little luck. The good folks at Silver King Lodge promise that the tarpon here are so easy to catch, you can just whistle them over to your boat. Yeah, I've heard that before. No matter what, the chance of even catching one of these big, beautiful fish will be a catch of a lifetime. Stick around. This one really is huge.
At the forefront of any sport, you inevitably find someone pushing the limits. While kayak fishing has been exploding in popularity, Jim Sammons has been doing just that.
Yeah, look at these. Nice.
From the seat of his ocean kayak, Jim challenges the world's top game fish and puts his kayak fishing skills to the ultimate test.
Never fought a kayak, have you, fish?
From freshwater to saltwater, Jim's mission is simple: to discover the best fishing destinations in the world and prove that anything is possible from a kayak.
That's a healthy fish. And the little one got away.
Ocean Kayaks Kayak Fishing Show is brought to you in part by Ocean Kayak, makers of the Trident and Ultra series of fishing kayaks. Ex Officio, made to adventure. Seagar, always the best fishing line. Mustad, Mustad hooks stay sharper longer. Hook One Kayak Fishing Gear. Get everything you need to get out there and hook one. Scotty, the way to fish. And the Heliconia Press, cutting edge outdoors media. This week on Ocean Kayaks Kayak Fishing Show with Jim Sammons, Jim heads to the fish-filled waters of Costa Rica, this time to the Silver King Lodge on the East Coast, to try to hook the monster acrobatic tarpon. Last year, Jim hooked up with local expats Joe Lynberg and Super Steve Jurries for an incredible week chasing sailfish and roosters off the West Coast.
All right, hi everybody. I'm Steve Jurries. I live down in the southwestern part of Costa Rica on the Osa Peninsula, on the shores of the Gulf of Dulce, right where they're meeting the Pacific Ocean. A really beautiful fishery down there. I fish with Joe Lynberg quite often.
My name is Joe Lynberg. I met Jim Sammons via online after creating my own website, just looking for links. I'm part of the Ocean Kayak Pro team. He was looking for ideas for a new show, and little by little, Steve Jurries and myself put together a little bit of a plan to have Jim and Will come down, check out the Osa Peninsula.
When Joe and Steve bragged about the tarpon fishing on Costa Rica's East Coast, Jim's ears perked up. Years before, on an ill-fated trip to Florida, Jim spent hours trying to catch a Silver King to no avail. So we're headed to the Silver King Lodge on the Rio Colorado River. Silver King has a rep as the best tarpon fishing destination in the world. Hundreds of 150 to 200-pound tarpon are hooked and landed by guests each year. But no one from Silver King Lodge has yet to do it from a kayak. Jim hooks up with Joe and Steve in San Jose. They're hopping on a plane, flying over the mountains to the remote Barra airstrip.
So we landed last night in San Jose and got us up early this morning, brought us over to a small private airport, and we'll take about a 35-40 minute hop over to the Caribbean side and go to Silver King Lodge. I guess we just do a quick breakfast and we get to fish right away, so pretty excited.
Oh, I am just so stoked about getting out on the water, Will. This is going to be an experience of a lifetime. Never gotten a tarpon off a kayak. It's going to be epic.
The only way to get to the remote lodge
Okay,
is by
so-
river or airplane. Next, they board a comfortable barge.
It looks like I started the wrong episode. This is the same episode as last week. This is what happens when you're not clear in the head. So let's start the other one. Let me, I'm going to have to bring that up here. I apologize, everybody. Oh, my goodness. So, let's see if I can find it. Oh, my God. I cannot believe I did that. I hit the wrong one. So you get a double feature today. All of a sudden listening to it, I'm like, wait, this is the same beginning. Sorry, everybody. I feel like an idiot, but live streaming, that's the way she goes. So if you have any questions or comments, like Jim, you're a knucklehead. Here we go. The actual part 2.
This week on the Kayak Fishing Show, Steve Jurries and Joe Lynberg are hanging out with me at Silver King Lodge in Costa Rica. In just 3 days, Joe and I have caught more tarpon than any sane man should even try out of a kayak. But alas, it's not all roses. Steve has basically caught the skunk. And even though Joe and I can barely get our hooks in the water, he can't seem to get it right. But it's only a matter of time. There are wild jumping fish everywhere. And Steve is gonna get his turn. Nothing, I mean nothing compares to big, jumping, hard-pulling fish on a kayak, and these tarpon at Silver King Lodge aim to please. Stick around, we're just getting started.
At the forefront of any
Okay, I'll
sport,
go ahead
you
and
inevitably
skip
find
the
someone
intro. We
pushing
don't
the
need to watch
limits.
that again.
While kayak fishing has been exploding in popularity, Jim Sammons has been doing just that. Cutting edge outdoors media.
Here we go.
This week on Ocean Kayaks Kayak Fishing Show, Jim Sammons' East Coast Costa Rican adventure continues. Jim is hooked up with his friends Joe Lynberg and Steve Jurries to catch massive tarpon at Silver King Lodge.
We've had a fantastic trip so far. I've jumped a couple of tarpon, landed a couple tarpon. Joe's got a couple tarpon. We have had a fantastic trip.
Joe Lynberg is an expert angler and guide in the Osa Peninsula on Costa Rica's west coast. His company, Osa Kayak Fishing, offers eco tours and fishing trips out of Puerto Jimenez.
If you want to go fishing for me, all you need to do is look me up at CostaRicaKayakFishing.net. We do guided fishing tours. We do eco tours, rainforest tours, national park, zip line, snorkeling, whale watching, you name it. We're the people to see in the Gulf of Dulce region of Costa Rica.
Steve Jurries
I don't
is a
think Joe
designer
is in
and builder
Costa
of
Rica
eco
anymore.
houses in Costa Rica, specializing in bamboo construction. Last year, he too began running fishing trips and tours in the Osa with Playa Bambusa Kayak Fishing.
Well, I am Playa Bambusa Kayak Fishing. I specialize in the Gulf of Dulce and the surrounding waters there. Anywhere between a half a day, a full day, multi-day trips around the Gulf that could either be camping or staying in lodges around the Gulf, depending on your budget and your desire. It's just really an absolutely beautiful place. We can offer a variety of accommodations around the Puerto Jimenez, Osa Peninsula area as well to accommodate any budget and get you on whatever fish you're interested in. You can get in touch with me at pbkayakfishing@gmail.com.
The skunk is off, boys and girls.
So far, the Silver King Lodge has been amazing. Joe and Jim have had the fishing trip of a lifetime, hooking and landing over 25 massive tarpon in only 3 days. It took a bit of work, but the guys have come up with a foolproof way to land the big fish and then release them without harming the beasts.
At the point at which they do get tired, they'll come up just a little bit on the belly, and that's the time at which you're able to reach your hand in and just grab them by the lower jaw. The lower jaw is almost like a perfect handle to have a gloved hand and just pull it right up on your lap very easily. Get these nice mustad circle hooks popped right out. Just trying to keep them in the water and give them a kick away very strong.
But all is not rosy in Costa Rica. Steve Jurries is having issues. While Joe and Jim keep on hooking up, Steve has yet to even feel the tug of a tarpon.
You know, Joe's a great guy. He's one of my best friends, but he's really pissing me off right now. He's having the time of his life, and I'm stoked for him. That's awesome.
The frustration might be beginning to show, but Steve is not giving up yet. When we come back, the action continues at Silver King Lodge.
Day 5. 6 fish. That's what I'm talking about.
So again, I apologize for starting the wrong episode first, but like I said, Steve had a tough time, but we were mainly fishing bait As you saw, he had a small Sierra mackerel there. We used ribbon
Ocean
fish
Kayaks
very
Kayak
successfully.
Fishing Show is brought to you in part by
Moonfish.
Ocean Kayak, makers of the Trident and Ultra series of fishing kayaks, and the Torque, which features a removable min.
Mitch, how you doing up in Ontario? Thanks for joining us. And again, folks, love to get the questions and comments and let us know where you're watching from, whether you're watching live or watching the replay. I always come back and look at these, and I can always answer your questions later. I do have a comment from a Facebook user. So this is somebody watching on the Facebook group page. If you're watching in the group page, in the description of the video at the bottom, there will be a link saying you need to give StreamYard permission to use your name. If you don't, it comes up as Facebook user. So if you give it permission, I can actually say hello to you and comment by your name. So if you are watching on the Facebook group page, please do give StreamYard permission to use your name. So let's keep the episode rolling.
Dakota Motor. Check them out at oceankayak.com. This week, Jim Sammons joins Joe Lynberg and Steve Jurries for an incredible week of tarpon fishing on Costa Rica's east coast.
My arms are sore. We're all sore.
On the dawn of their fourth day on the water, Steve has made it his mission to shake off the skunk that's been plaguing him all week.
I've been on now my fourth day, and I barely know what they look like, except, I got that buddy Joe. He's helped me out on seeing what they like, but I'm just having a hard time.
Before you know it, Joe has hooked up. The morning kicks off with a bang.
Sam, Silver King, why you come to Costa Rica and the Caribbean? Amazing fish.
Finally, after days of paddling, Steve's luck begins to change.
It was really hard for me to get up this morning, I'll tell you first, because I had 4 days of really tough time. I got a couple of hookups but couldn't land a fish. So really hard time getting up this morning. I had to jump in a cold shower to get myself going. We got out on the water and I'm thinking, all right, we might have a good one going here. Tossed the bait out, and all of a sudden there's this really weird buzzing noise coming off my reel, and I couldn't figure out what it was for a few seconds, because it's been so long since I heard it. Then I realized, oh my God, there's something peeling line off my reel.
We're just getting ready to go in for lunch. Now Steve's going to land this fish, and then we're going to go back for lunch before we come out for more.
That's still Joe.
What a way to end the morning,
Very good.
yeah!
Trying to catch another tarpon.
The best part is, the morning has only just begun, and the mayhem has only just started.
This week in Costa Rica, we've been targeting tarpon again, and I've been throwing some lures and having a lot of fun doing that. My setup for throwing the lures, I like a little bit narrower reel. That's why I'm using the Akuma Cedros 8S. It's a little narrower than the 10, so it's very easy to cast and retrieve. Lever drag, so I've got a good smooth drag on those big fish. I'm using an 8-foot rod, better casting distance. This is the 801M Makura soft tip. I can throw the lure, but soft tip when the fish jumps, it's not going to snap the line. A little bit different setup here. I'm loading that reel up with 80-pound cans and braid. I'm going to put about 60 feet of Seaguar fluorocarbon 40-pound. And then at the top end, near the hook, I'm going to put 100-pound. And again, that's just for the abrasion resistance for those gill plates. So Seaguar 100-pound down near the lure. For my lure, I was using a Sebile stick shad, but I replaced the hooks with Mustad 11-aught J hooks. I prefer those over a treble hook, particularly on a fish that might throw that lure back at me. That's the setup I'm using for tarpon when I'm throwing lures. Check it out.
For more tips and your chance to win a fantastic kayak fishing package that includes an Ocean Kayak Trident fishing kayak and ex officio clothing, visit kayakfishingshow.com.
Obviously, that is an old contest.
Nothing short of an epic day today here at Silver King Lodge. I mean, not just quantity, the quality of these fish. I mean, every one of them over 100 pounds. Big, beautiful fish. This is pull hard, jump, roll. Woo. See if I can get one more to finish off the day.
Day 5. 6 fish. That's what I'm talking about.
And there he goes. And he turned to swim. So. No, I'm just so tired of the power to lift.
Long day, tired fisher guy. Happy guy though.
Day 4 has simply been awesome. The anglers are beat, so they head in for a home-cooked meal and a comfortable night's rest at the exemplary Silver King Lodge.
I was gonna get 6. I swore I was gonna do it. Couldn't pull it off. Got the 5. Couldn't get the 6.
Five
Silver King
tarpon in
Lodge
one
is
day.
hands down the best tarpon
And I did
fishing
better
lodge
on the
in
last
world.
day.
Expert guides on clean, well-run boats.
I've never
get
had
you hooked
fishing
up
like
on
this on
massive
tarpon.
fish within hours of your arrival. Outfitted with 3 brand new Ocean Kayak Trident 13s and expert guides trained to handle the specific needs of the kayak angler, Silver King Lodge is sure to become a destination for big game kayak anglers as well.
It's a well-run place. It's kind of fun, rustic, wooden boardwalks throughout. The staff is absolutely friendly and accommodating. They'll do whatever they can to make you happy, make you comfortable.
Everyone, it's just been so nice. Amazing place. Great tourist experience for anybody.
Comfortable rooms, great food, and a full-service bar and pool area are only a few reasons to take the plunge and head to this sportsman's paradise.
I think the word epic gets used a little bit too much for fishing trips. You know, the surf was epic, the fishing was epic. Epic was an understatement for our fishing here. I mean, it was ridiculous.
When we come back, Jim is joined by ex officio contest winners Chris and Sandra Lewis for a day on the water. And the Silver Kings are here to oblige.
Yeah, baby.
Ocean Kayaks Kayak Fishing Show is brought to you in part by Scotty, Standard Horizon, Maui Jim, and Hook One Kayak Fishing Gear.
Yeah, I had forgotten we had done this contest with Ex Officio, and Chris Lewis and his wife came down, and they just fished with us for one day. And super nice people, and I think they had a really, really good time too. Tackle Fishing Adventures says, "Hey Jim, I assume that was you that was Facebook user," going by your other comment. Matt, thanks for joining us. Freaking awesome. I do appreciate you watching. I appreciate all you guys watching as always. Like I said, this whole place, and this has been years, and I'm not 100% sure that the place is even still in operation. But you know, it was a great place, and the fishing was just beyond belief. I think the last day I got 11 tarpon. Just crazy good fishing. Come on. These are built-in commercial brakes here.
Ocean Kayaks Kayak Fishing Show is brought to you in part by Ex Officio and their new Soul Cool collection of shirts made with ice fill technology, which actually dissipates heat and provides a cooling effect. Check them out at exofficio.com. Dawn comes early, and the guys are ready for another day at the Silver King Lodge in Costa Rica. Today, they're joined by Ex Officio contest winners Chris and Sandra Lewis.
I'm really excited because on this trip, we get to host the winners of the Keeping It Cool contest by Ex Officio. And just so happens that the winner lives in my hometown.
Hi, my name is Chris Lewis. I want to thank Jim Sammons and Ex Officio for bringing us down to Costa Rica with my wife.
Hi, I'm Sandra. I'm out here fishing with Jim Sammons and my husband Chris, hoping to catch some big tarpon.
You know, here's the thing. When it was posted, the link was posted, win a trip to fish with me for free in Costa Rica. I recognized Jim Sammons. I knew him as a guide in La Jolla, where I have also fished. And I filled out the form online, and then I got an email about 4 weeks later. And I really, really didn't believe it. I didn't believe it so much to the point where I didn't respond to the email. I'm very, very embarrassed. Apologize, Ex Officio. No, it took me 3 or 4 weeks to convince Sandra that we were actually going to Costa Rica. And it was actually quite torturous, but we're here.
Chris has only hit the water for a few minutes when a willing tarpon hits his line.
What a fantastic day. I fought my first tarpon in my life. The guides estimated the fish to be about 130 pounds. I brought it to the kayak a little bit green. I saw the fish about 5 feet underneath my boat, and I thought the party was over, just like with the white sea bass that I fought in La Jolla. Well, not true. I did eventually lose the fish because I got the line wrapped around the lever, but it doesn't matter. I brought my first tarpon to the leader, and it was a fantastic day. That was excellent. That was a beautiful fish. We got a beautiful jump. A great fight. I made a little mistake with the lever drag reel. Let's do it again. I've never seen a fish that big next to my kayak. You know, my biggest fish I've ever fought was 60 pounds in San Diego. But thank you very much.
If you're interested in winning a fantastic adventure, make sure you visit exofficio.com because they're doing contests all the time. Or better yet, friend them on Facebook. You'll keep up to date on their new products and great special deals. Ex Officio, man, it's top of the line stuff. You got to check out their gear.
And when they contact you to tell you you've won, take them seriously. It's for real.
Hooking and fighting a tarpon is just the beginning. In this week's kayak fishing tip, we're going to tell you how to land them. The main thing to remember when you're on a tarpon is these are a big, strong fish. So you don't want to bring the green fish to your kayak too soon. Make sure the fish is played out enough that you can land it safely, but not played out so much that you've extended the fish beyond a point where you can revive it. You should have a landing plan for these fish. Know what you're going to do. How big of a fish are you comfortable landing by yourself? How big of a fish are you going to need an assist with? And what tools do you need to help you land that fish? Now, for a small tarpon, quite honestly, I can reach down with my boga grip, get them on the lip, and pull them up. And that's, you know, the smaller fish. But you start getting the big fish, these fish can do a lot of damage. And you really want to be prepared. Having a landing glove to help you reach up into their mouth and hold on to it. Having a fishing partner. It's very similar to the way that we land billfish. One person's holding the rod, the other person slides between the fish and the other kayaker, and they can reach over and help land it. And then the two of you pull it over to get that photograph and then get it back in the water as quickly as possible. When you bring the tarpon up to your kayak, it's really nice to have a lever drag reel when you've been fighting them. So that way you can back the drag off but not go completely out of gear. Turn your clicker on so in case you try to land the fish and it shakes and drops, and believe me, I had that happen to me many times, the fish is going to drop back into the water and be able to take line rather than snapping the line, snapping your rod, or hurting you. So remember, if the fish is too big, there's no reason to bring it up on your kayak. If the fish is too tired, you want to keep it in the water anyway. Get that thing revived, get it swimming away so the next guy can come along and catch it. Until next time, I'm Jim Sammons, and that's your kayak fishing tip of the week.
And it is highly recommended that you don't bring them up on the boat. I don't think you're doing that much damage. You're not pulling them way up on a boat. On a kayak is basically pulling them over your lap. Is very low. But for the most part, it's recommended just keep them in the water. In some places, you aren't allowed to pull them out of the water. So just know the regulations. And for the most part, like if you can get its head out of the water, you can still get a good glory shot and then release it. Make sure you revive those fish and release them healthy, because you want to keep a fishery like this good.
The kayak fishing tip of the week was brought to you by Ocean Kayak.
Jackson
Check out their
Kayak.
complete line of kayaks at oceankayak.com. When we come back, there's one more day of fishing left, and Steve, Jim, and Joe are ready to put in a long day and break all the records. The adventures at Silver King Lodge continue.
Like I said, the last day was ridiculous. And that's the day we ended up letting Will fish. And he took a lot of still photos. Because, I mean, you can only get so many fish on 24 minutes of basically airing time of a TV show. So he focused on those still shots.
Ocean
But
Kayaks, Kayak Fishing
I got
Show is
11
brought to you in
tarpon on the
part
last
by
day.
Okuma Fishing Tackle.
And it was
It's your day.
just
Make
crazy.
the most of it
Crazy
with
good.
Okuma Fishing Tackle. Inspiring design meets stunning performance. Check out Okuma's full line of rods, reels, and fishing accessories at okumafishing.com.
Here we are, last day at Silver King Lodge. We're going to put in a long day today. I'm going to put a hurt on a lot of fish. At least that's the plan. We got beautiful conditions. Looks like we won't get rained on at least for a while today. So plenty of opportunity to go get on some more of these big tarpon.
So far, this trip has broken all the limits of kayak fishing. Jim, Joe Lynberg, and Steve Jurries have lost count of the amount of tarpon hooked, landed, and released from their kayaks. It's their last day on the water, and the guys can't wait to put in one more day to see how far their luck can take them.
If you ever have the chance to get down here and you want to catch big fish in your kayak, you got to come here, man. There's no place better.
We're on that 120, 130 range.
I got a chip on each shoulder and a monkey on my back.
This is a compact, just a little ball of muscle that doesn't stop at all. First, he'll take off running across the surface. Boom, immediate jumps, an acrobat. He's a lot of fun to watch in that. And then after he gets done with his surface running, he'll dive down, head straight below your boat, and just pull. Occasionally coming up, you see that line coming up toward the surface again, and boom, you get these acrobatic jumps again. That's just a lot of fun to watch.
Since the old day, catching marlin and different fish, we came up with the term Crazy Ivan for when they do a wild turn. Anybody who's seen Hunt for Red October, that's when the Russian submarines would turn around real quickly at random intervals. Yeah, baby. Man, that was fun. I've been a big fan of Ex Officio clothing for a long time. And now one of my pieces of go-to gear is their new Soul Cool shirt, because it is so darn comfortable. The Soul Cool shirt has built-in sun protection and is quick drying, which makes it the ultimate kayaking or any type of water sports shirt. The Soul Cool shirts are actually treated with xylitol, which is a natural ingredient from the white birch tree that lowers your body temperature for your active lifestyle. I personally wear the Soul Cool shirt whether I'm fishing in cold climates or warm climates. If I'm in a cold climate, it's a base layer that's wicking away moisture. If I'm in a warm climate, it's keeping me cool and keeping the sun off my skin. You can see all of Ex Officio's great clothing at exofficio.com.
With that, it's time to call it a day. Time to head into Silver King for a cerveza and a good night's sleep before the flight out in the morning. Steve has a surprise planned for the guys, a day of ziplining through the canopy. You can't leave Costa Rica without a day of flying through the jungle. Next week on Ocean Kayaks Kayak Fishing Show, join Jim, Matt Moyer, and Mark Olson as we head to Cedros Island, Mexico with Jose and Cedros Island Adventures for a fun-filled week of kayak fishing, hooking calico bass and yellowtail.
For more tips or information on how you can join me on a kayak fishing adventure, visit jimsammons.com.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that that show. Like I said, it was one of the best fishing trips I've ever had. Definitely the best tarpon fishing I've ever had. I mean, we've had some great tarpon trips to Puerto Rico, but like I said, this one was just beyond belief. I mean, like I said, that last day I got 11 tarpon, just phenomenal. And then we didn't catch any small ones. You know, they were all good quality size fish. So if you have the opportunity, I highly recommend heading down there to the east coast of Costa Rica. Like I said, we were at Silver King Lodge, and it was just a super cool place and a great destination. I appreciate you all watching. We are here every Tuesday and Thursday. Please join us and bring your questions, comments, share our videos with your friends. I always appreciate that. Give us a thumbs up. Any of that stuff that helps us increase the reach, because Facebook doesn't share us around too much. So even though we have a lot of followers, it doesn't go out to everybody. So if you are going out on the water, please remember, always wear your PFD and keep your paddle right side up. Y'all take care.
Word to the wise, if your mama ain't taught you, don't stand in front of a man and a fish he ain't caught yet. Honey, if the world calls me, tell him I'm fishing. I'm going fishing. Where am I headed? Where am I headed? Where am I headed? Wouldn't you like to? Where am I headed? Where am I headed? Where am I headed? Wouldn't you like to go fishing? I'm going fishing.